This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 5. Coverage you can count on.
Eyewitness News spent weeks trying to learn more about cracks in an I-4 support beam that shut down Colonial Drive for days last month. New tonight, only Channel 9 has the inspection reports that show FDOT had serious concerns way back in January. The report says the bridge support has more than a dozen structural cracks. These are not just cosmetic. Good evening, I'm Greg Wormuth.
And I'm Martha Sigowski. Our partner News 96.5 first broke the story, and since then Channel 9's Racquel Asa has been relentless in her pursuit of answers from FDOT. Racquel, this is a report you've been following for a long time.
Yeah, in fact, Martha and Greg, it has taken me a month to get this report, and I was very specific in my request to the Florida Department of Transportation to get this report. And this 11-page document is the first time we're getting a better picture of the concerns that the state has with this pier and how severe those cracks are. Most of the report was heavily blacked out by the State Department of Transportation, but the first 2 pages are all one needs to read. Specifically, this line: the depth of the cracking cannot be verified. Due to the amount and location of the cracking, it is recommended that these cracks be classified as structural cracks. The report further states that the crack inspection was completed on January 30th, but it does not say when the state first noticed the cracks on the pier, which to this day are still visible next to these sensors, which are giving the contractor constant readings of any changes to the structure. Another detail we picked up on the report was on this page, which is mainly blacked out. Turning the document horizontally, there is a column labeled crack numbers, likely indicating there are 17 cracks on the pier that were identified.
Yeah, that's not good at all.
Charles Fowlers can see the work from his business.
Yeah.
Wondering for weeks where fixing the issue stands. He was burned the last time workers closed Colonial to install this temporary support. He says the report is not settling.
Another delay.
Now, Racquel, one thing we've been hearing from people ever since we started covering this story, and this is a pretty big one, Racquel, is this bridge safe?
One thing the state had told me over and over again is that the pier structure as is can support the weight of this bridge, especially since they put that temporary structure in place last month as a precaution. The issue at hand is whether this pier structure can also support not only the weight of the bridge, but also the weight of traffic. Now, being that that bridge is still closed to drivers and it was supposed to open February 22nd, the fact that it's not open now is very telling that the state does have some reservations. Reporting live from Colonial Drive, just by I-4, Racquel Asa, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 6. Coverage you can count on.
FDOT says there are 17 cracks in this new I-4 bridge, and only Eyewitness News obtained internal documents that show just how concerned they are about the structural integrity.
And how do you fix that without starting over again?
New at 6, we found out it could take months for FDOT to even come up with a fix. FDOT says this bridge with temporary supports in place is safe to drive underneath. The concern now is whether cars can drive on top of it. Good evening. I'm Greg Wormuth.
And I'm Martha Sigowski. Only Eyewitness News obtained a report that shows cracks on the bridge were first noted in an inspection completed on January 30th. The bridge was originally supposed to open to drivers February 22nd. On April 9th, our radio partners at News 96.5 first reported on the cracks. Then 4 days later, FDOT made a surprise closure of Colonial Drive under the bridge to put up temporary supports. Channel 9's Racquel Asa is the only reporter to uncover this new report. She joins us live right now. Racquel, you've been talking to FDOT every week since that temporary support was put up more than a month ago.
And Martha and Greg, I can tell you have been asking for the Florida Department of Transportation the last month how long it's going to take for them to fix this pier. And in fact, it was my coworker, Field Sutton, who was also reporting on this story last month that first discovered these sensors on the pier, which we now know are giving the state daily readings on how this pier is doing. But today, it is this report that tells us how many cracks there are. That answer can be found on this heavily blacked out page of the 11-page report. The column seems to indicate that there are 17 cracks identified on the pier. Those cracks, according to the report, classified as structural, according to an inspection done on January 30th. Since then, these sensors were installed. We found out they're giving the state constant readings on the pier's condition, specifically how the concrete is expanding and contracting under the heat. but it's going to take up to 3 months before the state figures out how to replace this temporary structure with something more permanent.
We'll have to see what their fix is going to be.
Businesses nearby wonder what's next, considering the bridge above the pier is already fully built.
How do you fix that without starting over again?
FDOT won't say if that's one of the options being considered, since they're still in the process of identifying the source and the severity of the cracks. Only then will the state have a better idea of whether or not Colonial will have to close again to drivers who last month were caught off guard.
They have to fix it, of course, but the traffic's going to be horrible.
Now, the Florida Department of Transportation did stress to us that this pier can support the weight of the bridge as it stands right now when you include that temporary structure which they put in last month. The issue at hand is whether that pier can also support the weight of traffic on this bridge that you can see above me right now. Martha.
Racquel, you tried the whole day to get someone to talk to you on how you can fix something like this, and you had a hard time finding anyone who would talk to you.
Martha, I can tell you I called a number of contractors, not only throughout the entire state of Florida, but also around the country, as far as California, to help us with this project, to help us analyze this report, and also talk about possible solutions on what the state can do here. All of them did not want to comment on this story out of fear of possibly losing money for a future project with the Florida Department of Transportation or the possibility of a lawsuit. Reporting live along Colonial Drive, Racquel Asa, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.